You know what they say, with great power comes great responsibility. But what happens when the most powerful character in the show is the one who falls apart?
You have no idea how bad I am.
When these 5 characters snapped, no one could reach them except the one person who refused to leave. Starting with Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Everyone's watching. Don't worry about them. It's just you and me.
He's the Avatar, the only one who can master all 4 elements. But at the beginning of the show, he's just a kid trying to have fun while goofing around.
He is the Avatar.
Are you kidding? He's just a goofy kid.
Tasked with finishing a war that's been going on for a century, he easily has the biggest raw power in the series because the Avatar exists specifically to outmatch everyone else when things get bad. Thankfully, he has this habit where he always diffuses tension with humor and tries to understand people chasing him instead of just knocking them down. But when he snaps out, oh man, that's when you know someone's about to get hurt. We saw a glimpse of Aang having a major crash out in the episode The Southern Air Temple. And honestly, it's just valid. What makes the hit fall so much harder is that Aang starts the episode full of hope, convinced he'll find another airbender in the ruins of his old home, maybe even his old mentor, Gyatso. But instead, he finds the temple completely bare, and Gyatso's skeleton sitting right where he died 100 years ago, surrounded by Fire Nation soldiers.
Firebenders?
That's the moment hope runs out completely, as Aang had spent the whole episode holding on to the idea that his people, or at least Gyatso, could still be waiting for him somewhere. His avatar state is triggered for the first time, with wind tearing through the ruins hard enough to knock Sokka and Katara off their feet. It was also the very first time we see how persistent Katara was willing to be in her quest to help the Avatar.
Gonna try and calm him down.
Well, do it before he blows us off the mountain.
We see a very similar moment hit even harder in the desert. With Appa stolen and the group stranded in the middle of nowhere, Aang's grief turns into pure rage. When the Avatar state takes over this time, sand and rock tear right out of the ground while the others scramble for cover. In both of those moments, Katara is the only thing standing between Aang and total devastation. If she hadn't stepped in, both situations could have easily turned into a disaster. She's the one who walks straight into the storm while Sokka braces for impact, pushing forward, calling Aang's name until she can wrap her arms around him, and the wind finally dies down. I don't know about you, but I find this specific moment to be just wholesome. Her story shows that pain doesn't just go away when you stay calm. It builds up, and without somewhere safe to put it, it comes out exactly the way Aang's does. Katara lost her mother to the exact same Fire Nation that wiped out Aang's people, so she knows what hidden grief feels like from the inside.
Aang, I know you're upset, and I know how hard it is to lose the people you love.
When Aang snaps, she sees a terrified 12-year-old who just lost another piece of his world. She reaches him by simply talking to a friend who's scared, using the only comfort he understands in that moment. What makes this work long-term is how she checks on him afterward, building the kind of trust that keeps them grounded when everything falls apart. But what happens when the thing that snaps was never a person to begin with? When it was built from the ground up to be a weapon first?
You are who you choose to be.
This is the Iron Giant. He was built to be a walking weapon capable of leveling an entire town without even trying, complete with weapon systems that trigger on pure instinct. And for most of the movie, all that destructive potential actually stays hidden. A kid named Hogarth Hughes finds him first and shows him that he can choose who he wants to be.
It's beautiful, huh? Hey, look.
His raw power is obvious right away, yet the entire story revolves around him turning his back on what he was built to do. He spends his time reading comic books, hanging out in the junkyard, and picking kindness whenever he gets the chance. By the time the climax arrives, he has completely redefined who he is.
I'm Superman.
But eventually, the worst happens. He snaps. And oh boy, the worst case scenario plays out. The giant is flying Hogarth to safety, trying to put distance between them and the military forces closing in, when an anti-aircraft fire clips him right out of the sky. They crash hard into the forest. In the smoke, dust, and sheer panic, he takes notice of Hogarth completely knocked unconscious. And as the silence settles, he assumes the absolute worst. With Hogarth gone, the only thing holding back what he was built to do disappears with him. This moment hits with a very different kind of terror, as it is born from overwhelming grief, instantly convincing him that gentleness was a mistake. There's a reason to believe that in his mind. Choosing to be soft and caring about someone is the exact thing that got his best friend killed. A terrifying shift happens all at once. Except Hogarth actually survives the fall and reaches the giant before the military can push things any further. Instead of running, Hogarth simply steps directly into the line of sight and stays right there, alive, showing the giant that his worst fear didn't happen. And the second the giant sees him, the war machine shuts down. The armor pulls back, the red glow fades, and he comes back to himself.
And you don't have to be a gun. You are what you choose to be.
It's such a simple resolution, just presence, because the bond they build during the rest of the movie does all the heavy lifting. Then the general snaps the phone and orders the missile launch anyway, aiming it straight down at the town, at Hogarth, and everyone who just saw the giant step down.
Launch the missile now!
This is where the movie delivers its core message. Fully in control of himself, the giant flies up to intercept the missile head-on. Earlier in the story, again, you are who you choose to be. So the giant chooses, with total clarity, to be the hero Hogarth believed in, as this child gave him a reason to value his own life and choices. That decision is what ultimately saves everyone. Absolute cinema. The giant's danger came from the outside. The next character carried his inside from the day he was born and had to watch it grow into something even he couldn't calm down.
Please let me be a magic healer.
Steven is half gem, half human, the son of rose quartz. By the later stretch of the original series, he's grown powerful enough to shatter Jasper, which was the first time in the series the actual act of a gem being shattered was shown on screen.
Please let this work.
His true strength always came from his emotional resilience. Steven consistently chooses to talk monsters down and reconcile with people who have deeply hurt his family, acting as the emotional anchor of the entire show. His power was always about healing others, so watching it turn inward and start hurting him instead is what makes this breakdown so hard to watch. But before we get into the real snap, there's an earlier sign worth pointing out. When Steven fuses with Connie into Stevani, you can already see him starting to crack.
I'm sorry!
The second time was when Stevani sees an image of his mother and falls off a cliff in paranoia.
No.
Years pass, and the stress that got named but never fully processed came back with interest. In Steven Universe Future, Steven's powers start manifesting as something closer to monstrous under stress, with his body reacting to years of buried trauma in ways he can no longer control. And as time passes, it really begins to get creepy.
Oh, don't worry. I fixed that too. I can fix anything.
He physically begins transforming into something huge and more frightening, terrifying the same people he spent his entire life protecting, the people who never once had to protect him back. What makes this pair of episodes land harder than the first snap, if we can even call it, is the accumulation. Mindful Education treated the panic as a single crisis with a single resolution, but Future treated it with an accumulation through multiple episodes and a time skip. And bear in mind, through all of this, Steven is a kid. Thankfully, he has Connie by his side. For years, Steven and Connie solved problems together through mutual support and quiet understanding. When his trauma finally catches up with him, that established playbook completely burns down. Steven shuts everyone out. And when Connie comes back, the show makes it clear that one conversation is not gonna fix this. And that's exactly where they saw the problem. Steven was there for everybody, but Steven wasn't there for Steven. And as such, everyone that's ever been close to him just gave him a big ol' hug.
I want to be there for you now. I'm here, Steven.
And was told by everyone how much he's loved. But what was truly emotional is the speech Connie gave him.
Steven, you must have been so afraid to show us this side of yourself.
Connie holds a place in Steven's life nobody else does. She's the only person who never grew up as one of the gems he was raised to take care of. The only relationship in his life that started as an equal. That's what lets Connie be there for him when he needs help, without it feeling backwards. Everyone else in his life is used to Steven being the strong one. When that flips, they don't know how to handle it. She does. Steven grew into a power that got too heavy to carry. The next one was born with hers, and every calm moment is her holding back something she never chose.
Is this the part where I'm supposed to be intimidated?
Raven's power scales directly with what she's feeling, which makes her the most dangerous member of the Teen Titans on a bad day. She's half demon, the daughter of the interdimensional conqueror Trigon, and she spends the entire show keeping a tight lid on her own emotions, because feeling too much has consequences. She does a good job and can even be really wholesome sometimes.
Don't go away! Shut up!
So much of Raven's character revolves around self-control. She stays guarded, reads in the corner instead of joining the group hug, and intentionally keeps her distance, because getting close to people is dangerous when your emotions carry real destructive power. You rarely see someone like Raven lose composure in front of the team, mainly because keeping her calm is vital to keeping everyone safe. So when she finally breaks, it represents the failure of the one defense mechanism keeping her dark side at bay. During their fight with Dr. Light, he starts picking at her insecurities, mocking her fear of the light until her composure breaks. The insult lands perfectly. Her shadow magic explodes out, ripping the place apart and blowing the fight wide open in seconds. If not for Robin rushing in to drag her away before the situation got out of control, she would have killed someone. Another time where she lost control came in the Justice League Apocalypse movie, where she snapped after Lex Luthor smashed Damian into a wall. Her complete loss of control unleashes a terrifying level of danger. But hey, there is always someone out there to help her. In fact, it takes until later into the show for us to really see what's going on. When Beast Boy and Cyborg travel inside her head, the real threat finally comes to light. Years of bottled up power and her father's influence almost break through for good.
We're not in Raven's home.
We're in her head, and I want you out.
But despite all of that, neither Beast Boy nor Cyborg tries to run when the mindscape turns hostile, even though escape was an option. Beast Boy, who accidentally started the whole trip, engages directly with the broken pieces of Raven's personality, and Cyborg stands right beside him, fully backing him inside a collapsing mindscape run by someone who could turn her power on them at any second.
Let's just say I have issues with my father.
What makes it work is that none of the Titans really understand what they're walking into. All they can do is improvise and try to be patient with her. This deep dive into her mindscape completely changes how her everyday actions read on screen. Raven keeps to herself because she's actively restraining a catastrophic level of power. Her quiet nature acts as a strict survival mechanism. We see the consequences of her control slipping during those sudden outbursts, especially in the movie. I mean, can you imagine what could happen if she got attached to a person? Like, really attached? And then she just lost them? Yeah, that's the kind of thing you really don't want to think about too hard. But what happens when the person breaking wasn't the one everyone leaned on, just the one everyone already knew could go too far? Kevin absorbs the physical properties of anything he touches, which makes him one of the most dangerous characters in the entire franchise on paper alone. Unlike everyone else in this video, nobody in his own show is surprised when he loses control, because he already has, more than once, well before the events covered in Ultimate Alien. One such example is when he got mutated after absorbing the Omnitrix.
Can't change back! I'm stuck like this! Look at what you've done!
Whoa, relax, man. Why blame poor Ben for that? But yeah, episode featuring Kevin carries a low hum underneath it, a sense that the group is quietly waiting to see whether this is the time he goes too far again and doesn't come back from it. That's the twist built into this entry. Kevin practically defines this character archetype because he started out as Ben's unpredictable arch-nemesis, beginning his redemption arc with zero trust from the rest of the team. The tension relies completely on the emotional toll it takes on Gwen. She decides to believe in him, maintaining that loyalty far past the point where it looks reasonable to anyone else in the group. But the biggest crash out happens during the Forge of Creation. Facing down ultimate Agrigor with absolutely zero options left, Kevin makes a desperate play and absorbs the energy of the Ultimatrix itself. The sheer volume of raw power completely fries his Osmonian physiology, mutating his body and shattering his sanity, warping his mind further than any previous loss of control.
Well, I like being out of control. Maybe I should absorb the Alien X power from myself.
Left entirely unhinged, he kicks off a vengeance tour against his old enemies and people who owe him $5. And no, I'm not exaggerating here.
He claims I owe him $8 that I borrowed from him 5 years ago.
He first gets himself caught in the Null Voids in Karsakon in order to have his revenge over the Warden Morg, the exact man responsible for killing Quarrel, Kevin's primary mentor and father figure during his hardest years.
Morg is gonna pay for what he's done. Pay in full.
Then he goes after Alan to drain his energy.
Kevin, don't! It's me, Alan!
I know.
Before aiming his chaotic rage straight at the Plumber Academy. By the end of the episode, the teammates Ben and Gwen knew had vanished. He transforms into a completely unrecognizable threat. And the show frames the victory over Agrigor as a devastating, tragic turning point. He got so bad, so unhinged, and way out of control to a point where Ben decides the only option left is to kill him.
And he's never gonna stop. Unless I stop him. For good.
But of course, Gwen being Gwen, fights her own cousin over that decision. And Max, the one adult with authority to back her up, and who had the most sense for the majority of the show, refuses to.
We've got to find a way to cure him.
Ben is right.
I know, Wait, what?
So she leaves on her own to look for another way, allying herself with Darkstar, someone she has every reason not to trust and does anyway because he's the only ally left willing to help her look.
Because I can predict Kevin's next move.
Until Kevin finds her before she finds a solution and drains her too. The exact fate she's been trying to prevent for him, now landing on her instead. It's the low point of the arc, and the show lets it sit there rather than rushing past it. Gwen loses, badly, and the loss doesn't come with an obvious next move attached. Gwen maintains absolute faith in Kevin's redemption from start to finish. She holds onto that belief despite overwhelming physical evidence and direct opposition from her own family. She even teams up with enemies she actively distrusts just to secure a chance to save him. During Absolute Power Part 2, she puts her own life on the line by volunteering as bait. She walks directly toward a highly dangerous mutated Kevin to buy crucial time for Cooper and Darkstar to finish the machine designed to cure him. And at the end, we got a happy ending.
Now that's what I call a happy ending.
This scene relies entirely on action to carry the emotional weight. Gwen treats her loyalty as a deliberate battlefield strategy, pouring all her focus into cold execution. Her whole plan runs on one belief, that Kevin is still worth saving, and she bets everything on it even after it already blew up on her face once. This entry stands out on the list specifically because it avoids the standard emotional resolution. A purely mechanical solution serves as Kevin's actual salvation. The machine exists solely because Gwen expectedly rejected lethal force as an option. She forces this alternative into reality. The other characters in this video are saved by emotional understanding and deep empathy. But Kevin is saved by pure, unyielding persistence, even though he thought killing him was the right move.
If I were you, I'd apologize.
Yeah? Well, if I were you, I wouldn't have been such a wuss.
But at the end of the day, Gwen's absolute only reward for holding her ground completely alone is the restored version of Kevin waiting on the other side, fulfilling the single goal she ever cared about. Raw power easily wins a battle, yet power fails to rebuild a broken life. Pushing these characters to their absolute limit proves force is completely useless at the edge. Ultimately, the strongest characters were never saved by strength. Their real survival depended entirely on people stubborn enough to stay. If you enjoyed the video, a like would mean a lot. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.